Hello, welcome back to the Crime Gist. You can call me Damisa. Let's get straight into today's story. This is a case that was so dramatic and almost unbelievable. Something like a movie script, only that this was real. It happened in Kenya, somewhere in Nakuru town, and spilled into a countrywide chase for the culprit. So guys, stick around for all the gist, okay? At 8:40 a.m. on Monday, July 5th, 2021, a police officer, Sergeant Joseph Ologe, who lived at Kasarani police houses in Nakuru, was reporting for work. Just around the police quarters, he spotted a car with broken windows and the engine still running. He immediately recognized the car, a Toyota Corolla KBV 735U. It belonged to one of his colleagues at Central Police Station in Nakuru, Police Constable John Ogweno. When the officer peeped through the broken window, he saw Police Constable Ogweno lying in the driver's seat with blood oozing from his nose. He quickly called for help, and the officers who responded discovered that Mr. Ogweno had been shot and was dead. Collected from the scene was a 9mm caliber cartridge, a stone, and a metal rod, which were believed to have been used to smash the car's window. Upon further investigation, the officers noted that Constable Ogweno's Seska pistol was not on him, although he still had the holster. And so it was suspected that whoever had killed him had made away with his gun. Near the scene of the crime, detectives also found a mobile phone, which upon investigations was found to belong to one Corporal Caroline Kangogo, who was also Mr. Ogweno's colleague. Upon speaking to other colleagues at Nakuru Central Police Station, investigators found information that seemed to indicate that Mr. Ogweno and Miss Caroline Kangogo were having an affair. This was confirmed by the officers who went looking for Miss Kangogo in her house. They noted that some of Mr. Ogweno's clothes were at Caroline's house, but Caroline herself was nowhere to be seen. The two had also been spotted together the previous night at a popular entertainment joint in Nakuru. The following morning, which was Tuesday, July 6th, a call was made to the OCPD of Mugera Police Station that another man had been found dead in one of the hotel rooms at Dedamax Hotel in Kimbo area in Ruiru. He had a bullet wound to the head. The call was made by the owner of the hotel, Mr. Peter Mugeshi. When the crime scene was investigated, it was established that the dead man's identity was Peter Njiru Ndwiga, a 32-year-old businessman who hailed from Embu County. Peter Ndwiga had booked the hotel room number 107 at 4:22 p.m. on Monday in the company of a woman. A screen grab of the hotel CCTV footage showed a woman in a yellow hoodie, believed to be Miss Kangogo, walking into the hotel with a man who was wearing burgundy trousers and a grey coat. This was Peter Ndwiga. Another screen grab of the footage obtained from the cameras showed the same woman, Miss Kangogo, leaving the hotel at around midnight. In Peter's pocket, the police found a receipt of a 3,020 shillings payment made to Joo Maria Lodge in Thika. This bill was paid using a card belonging to Miss Kangogo. The receipt indicated that the payment was made at around 3:29 p.m. on the previous day, Monday, July 5th, and this was just hours after the body of Mr. Constable Ogweno was discovered in his car in Nakuru, and a few minutes before Caroline walked into Dedamax Hotel with Mr. Peter Ndwiga. The employees at Joo Maria Lodge confirmed that Miss Kangogo had eaten lunch at their facility that Monday at around 3:30, just as the receipt indicated. So, if you're following, you know that she moved from Nakuru, where she shot dead Constable Ogweno. Then she traveled all the way to Thika, which is 4 hours away. had lunch at around 3:30 p.m. at Joo Maria Lodge, paid using her bank card, and then about an hour later, CCTV at Dedamax Hotel would capture Miss Kangogo coming in with Mr. Ndwiga, which was around 4:22 p.m. Then at around midnight, it would show Caroline leaving the hotel alone without Mr. Ndwiga. Before she left Dedamax Hotel at midnight, she approached a clueless attendant at the front desk. She told this attendant that she was going out to buy some toothpaste and would be right back before she made her escape. She just went and never came back. Peter Ndwiga's body would be discovered the following morning at the hotel room, which led the owner now to calling the police to the scene. At this point, the DCI knew they were dealing with a dangerous woman. They quickly declared Miss Kangogo a person of interest and began a nationwide hunt for her. Detectives believed Caroline was on a mission to eliminate her current and former lovers. They issued a statement declaring Corporal Caroline Kangogo armed and dangerous and cautioning people, particularly men, to be wary of her as she was on a killing spree. One detective actually said, quote unquote, "This is a person who has interacted with every aspect of hunting criminals and she knows how we are doing it. And that gives her an opportunity to be a step ahead." She was described as a highly skilled sharpshooter. The police actually said they were approaching their search for Miss Kangogo with utmost caution as she was a very skilled officer. And so for the next 1 week, Caroline Kangogo was on the run, evading police traps set to nab her. She had just disappeared into thin air after committing 2 murders. Her name dominated the news that entire week. A team of police set out a manhunt for her, but for several days, she evaded their traps. Initial trails on her led the police to Iten, where she was believed to be targeting to kill another man, a doctor. She was believed to be in a relationship with this doctor as well. I'm not sure how many lovers Caroline had, but it looks like she was just on a mission to kill all these men. In a tweet by the then governor of Nairobi, Mike Sonko, he said that his lawyer, senior counsel John Haminwa, would be seeking bail pending arrest for Caroline Kangogo, stating that the lady cop should not be castigated as a criminal until the truth is unveiled. As the search for Caroline Kangogo entered day 8 on Monday, July 13, the Law Society of Kenya, through CEO Mercy Wambua, enlisted lawyer John Haminwa to represent Ms. Kangogo in court and to bargain for her release on bond pending arrest. Sources say that Caroline had expressed fears for her life. You know, she was an officer dealing with officers. Some people were claiming that these were rogue officers setting her up. Meanwhile, senior counsel Haminwa, attaching some conditions, said that Ms. Kangogo had to surrender the weapons she was said to have to the police or to any of his law firms, adding that he would ensure her safety. In the news, Ms. Kangogo's father, one Mr. Barnaba Koril, was seen urging his daughter to surrender. And as this was going on, social media streets were on fire. From some of the disturbing comments captured from various social media platforms, it was clear that the fugitive police officer had already amassed a significant fan base from the Kenyan female population. A significant number of women were applauding the police officer for her crimes and showering her with accolades. Some comments read, "Mwanamke bomba, kiongozi, lioness mfinyi." This translates to "brave woman, our leader, the lioness." Yet another comment read, "Jificha kabisa mkurugenzi, endelea kufinya wao," which basically means they wanted her to continue going after these men and continue hiding. More tweets read, "She's a legend, I support her mission." Another one said, "She is the best, we are fixing this nation." So, who is Caroline Kangogo, you might ask? Caroline was born on January 10, 1987 in Anin village, formerly Keyo district and now Elgeyo Marakwet County. She was born to Barnaba Koril and Leah Kangogo as their firstborn daughter. She attended Nyawa boarding school where she scored 305 marks out of 500 in her Kenya Certificate of Primary Education. And then she joined St. Francis Secondary School and later St. Alphonsus Mutei Girls Secondary School, where she attained a C- grade in her Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education, before joining the Kenya Police College in Kiganjo between 2008 and 2009 for her initial training. A profile of Miss Kangogo showed the 34-year-old was then enlisted in the National Police Service in August 2008 and was promoted from the rank of constable to a corporal in January 2021. While at Kiganjo for her training, she obtained a first class in shooting range qualification. This basically shows that she was really good at shooting. She had served at Police Training College in Mombasa and Kaloleni Police Station and other various police stations before she was attached to Nakuru Central Police Station. At the time of the occurrence of this ordeal in July 2021, she had been enlisted in the anti-crime unit. Miss Kangogo was married to Police Commissioner Richard Kipkuru Ngeno, with whom they had 2 children, but at the time of committing these murders, these two were separated and they were co-parenting. But as she would later reveal, she had also intended to kill Mr. Ngeno during her killing spree, but had later changed her mind. On day 10 of evading police, Caroline was spotted on a CCTV footage somewhere in Iten, wearing the same yellow hoodie she had on the CCTV at Dedamax Hotel. And this was the last time Caroline would be seen alive. A few hours later, her parents reported that they had found Caroline dead in their bathroom in Elgeyo Marakwet. The Regional Police Commissioner, George Natembea, confirmed her death. While positively identifying the body as that of fugitive Caroline Kangogo, George Natembea said that Caroline had shot herself using a pistol at her parents' home. The family would tell police that they never had any gunshots at the home where their daughter was alleged to have unalived herself. On Twitter, the then president of the Law Society of Kenya, Mr. Nelson Harvey, claimed that there was something fishy with her death since the police had rushed to the conclusion that she had shot herself, yet there were no witnesses to prove that Caroline had actually done that. His tweet read, "The media has been conscripted by the DCI to run this cover-up story. Who was the witness? Where was the autopsy done?" He continued, "I remember telling the Special Crimes boss on Tuesday that I'm sure you guys will eventually tell us that you found her dead." So here, the LSK president, Nelson Harvey, was trying to say that he suspected foul play in her death. It looked like Caroline had been branded a fugitive by the police, and this had left her no choice but to start dodging the police. Some people claimed that it could have been a case of a deal gone sour between rogue police officers. After her death that Friday, more information would emerge. Initially, the police denied that Caroline had left behind a note. However, a screen grab of what is claimed to be her death note seeped into social media. The note was said to be found in the draft folder of a Kabambe phone. A Kabambe phone is a small phone that is not a smartphone. Apparently, she had saved this note in the draft folder of that Kabambe phone. On the messages, she attributed what she underwent in her marriage as what pushed her to her transgressions. Part of the message read, "Since I met you, my husband, I have never known peace due to your mistreatment. Always chasing after women, torturing me physically and mentally." She also confessed that it was her intention to kill her husband too, but she had refrained. To her husband, she wrote, "I was in Mombasa and always saw you being picked and dropped. I wanted to kill you, but I sympathized with my kids. I forgive you and I hope you do the same." She goes ahead to say that her father disowned her after her marriage with her husband failed. She asked her parents for forgiveness and left orders to cremate her body, and if they chose to bury her, she wished to be buried in her father's land in a wedding gown. To my people, it's my wedding day. Dress me in a white gown that my husband could not afford, she directed. She blamed her recent actions on depression, which stemmed from her failed marriage. And although in the message she did not give a reason for killing Constable Ogweno, she referred to him as the love of her life. And the text said, "For you, my love, John Ogweno, our love was made in heaven, and that's why since Monday, the day after the incident, you embraced me with love and forgiveness and told me it is well with my soul, despite living in separate worlds. Rest well and see you soon." As for the murder of Peter Ndwiga, the man seen with her on the CCTV at Dedamax Hotel in Kimbo, she had no apologies to make. She wrote, "I don't owe anyone an apology. He conned me 1.5 million shillings, whereby I had borrowed 300,000 Kenyan shillings from my father's retirement benefits. Then he arrogantly told me he wouldn't pay, and I even found him with a new Pro Box." So it looks like Mr. Ndwiga had conned her some money and then used the money to buy himself a car. She was mad about that because he had blatantly told her he would not be paying her. I guess that was the reason she gave for killing him. She also claimed that she had suffered at the hands of a senior Nakuru police officer who she accused of harassment in her text. Police Commander Beatrice Karagori said that Carol Kangogo had been good at her job and there was nothing telling about her work that would be linked to her killing spree. She revealed that none of Kangogo's bosses had ever raised a disciplinary issue against her, adding that the records show that she was diligent in all her duties. The following Thursday, July 29, Caroline was laid to rest in a low-key burial. There was no gunfire salute and no police officer attended in uniform as Caroline was buried at her parents' Nyawa village home. Tradition in the police service would require a 21 gunfire salute, but because of the circumstances surrounding her death, Caroline was denied the honor. Her body was draped in a wedding dress as per her wishes. Caroline was eulogized as a humble and good officer by her friends and relatives. She was known in her village as Chemu and schooled at the local Nyawa Primary School a few meters from her family home. The head teacher at Nyawa Primary School, Beatrice Tilitei, had this to say: "Maybe she encountered other challenges in the police service, but our records show that she was a very good girl." Most relatives said they did not believe it was the same Chemu they knew who was linked to the murders of two people. Her father and mother did not address mourners but opted to pass their tribute through their family spokesman. The family spokesman, Robert Kipkoril, said that they were saddened and deeply affected by the events around her death. "We don't know what happened as a family because we didn't believe this is the Caroline we knew. She was described as dangerous and a fugitive, and this was very painful to us." The autopsy carried out on Caroline Kangogo at the Moi Referral Hospital in Eldoret showed that the bullet entered her body through the right chin and exited on the left side of the head, and there was a trajectory going through the spine to the brain, killing her instantly. However, the pathologist said that further investigations would be done to establish whether she shot herself or she was shot by someone else, since this was unclear at the time of her burial. Something to note here is that her parents and her family accepted the theory that she shot herself. They did not dispute it in court or in public when eventually this was ruled a suicide. They chose to put this whole ordeal behind them and move on. But what do you guys think? Could she have unalived herself or was she taken out? I'd really like to hear your thoughts on that down below. Also, remember to subscribe and share this episode with other true crime junkies like yourself. Keep it TCG until next time. See you soon.